Intercession, the act of one person pleading on behalf of another, is a profound concept that sits at the very heart of human faith and divine justice. In both Islam and Christianity, the bridge between a holy God and a fallible humanity is built upon the hope of a mediator who speaks for us. In the Islamic tradition, a central belief is that Prophet Muhammad will intercede for the Muslim community on the great day of judgment. This is rooted in hadith narrations such as Sahih al-Bukhari 75:10, which describes the Prophet standing before the throne of Allah to seek mercy for his followers. However, this concept raises significant theological questions regarding the balance between divine justice and divine mercy. One must ask about the timing of such intercession. Does it occur before, during, or after the soul has undergone its purification or punishment? If a sinner is forgiven before any consequence is met, what does that imply for the absolute justice of a Creator who sees all deeds? Furthermore, we must consider the beneficiaries. Is this mercy reserved only for the righteous, or is it a lifeline thrown to those who have deeply erred? Some critics suggest that if intercession is seen as a guaranteed rescue, it might inadvertently be viewed as a license to sin, weakening the drive for moral perfection. When we compare the status of figures in the Quran, we find intriguing nuances. In Surah 46:9, the Prophet Muhammad is instructed to speak of his own limitations. The verse states, "I do not know what will be done with me or with you." This highlights his role as a humble messenger, subject to the same divine decree. Yet, in Surah 19:19, the Quran describes Jesus, or Isa, in a unique way. An angel appears to Mary, announcing the gift of a pure or sinless son. This leaves many to wonder. If Jesus is recognized for his unique purity and high status in the Quran, why is his role in intercession often sidelined? Even Moses, the Kalim Allah, who spoke with God, holds a position of immense authority. Why then does the narrative focus so heavily on one over the others? Turning to the Christian perspective, the concept of intercession takes on a different theological dimension through the divinity of Jesus Christ. In Christianity, Jesus is not just a prophet pleading for mercy in the future. He is the divine intercessor who has already secured it through his sacrifice. He is viewed as the mediator who atoned for the sins of the world once and for all, bridging the gap between God and humanity permanently. The biblical evidence for this role is extensive. Romans 8:34 tells us that Christ Jesus died, was raised, and is now at the right hand of God interceding for us. Hebrews 7:25 further emphasizes this, stating that he is able to save completely those who come to God through him, because he always lives to intercede. Unlike a plea that might be granted or denied, the Christian view is that Christ's intercession is based on a finished work on the cross. In 1 John 2:1, believers are comforted with the words, "If anyone does sin, we have an advocate with the Father, Jesus Christ the righteous one." This advocacy is not a request for God to overlook sin, but an appeal to the payment already made by the advocate himself. So we see two distinct paths, one looking forward to a future moment of mercy on the day of judgment through a beloved prophet, and another resting in the present assurance of a mediator who has already overcome death and stands eternally as our representative. The comparison invites us to reflect on the nature of God's love. Is it a love that waits for the end, or a love that enters history to save? As we conclude this study, let us appreciate the depth of these traditions and the universal human desire for grace and reconciliation. In the distance, we see the symbols of these great faiths, a crescent and a cross, each pointing to a different understanding of the divine. Which perspective resonates with your understanding of justice? Which one offers the hope your heart seeks in the face of human frailty? We invite you to join the conversation. Thoughtful dialogue is the first step toward understanding the profound differences and shared questions that define us. Thank you for watching this comparative analysis. May your journey for truth be filled with light and wisdom. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more explorations into faith, history, and the questions that shape our world. Until next time, keep seeking, Keep reflecting and keep the dialogue alive.